It really means the world to me that you're here. I sincerely mean that. Now my picture looks pretty good. I have this shirt that keeps poking out, so we'll try to get that to go down over there. Anyway, oh my God, it keeps doing it. So, yeah, I'm very pleased with the fact that disclosure is coming, and we're getting the negative and the positive at the same time. You know, there's some very dark stuff that's come out in the open for people to learn about, and it's a very intense period of history, very intense time for us all. So we want to really focus on being in the light, being in the positive. I don't believe the law of one speaks of Armageddon, says Starseed. Well, it does talk about the fourth density shift, and it is consistent with other reports in that the negative comes to light. When we look at the times in the law of one where the fourth density energy goes up, where there's a sudden surge of fourth density energy and it becomes more powerful, at those moments, we have the exposure of the negative. So one of the first times that the energy went up was 1936. And this corresponds with the rise of Germany under the Führer and everything that happened with him. So that's an example where, again, the negativity in the world becomes more prevalent, more obvious, but at the same time you get major advancements. And then the next one is 1971, which corresponds very nicely with Richard Nixon, Watergate, and it corresponds with the arrival of the gas crisis, the really beginning of the whole collapse of the economy that started to, accelerate after that. 1971 was a very big year. Then we go on and we see 2011, 2012 is another focal point. We have the Snowden revelations about mass surveillance that comes out right around that time. And it's just really powerful stuff. So I'm not going to lie to you. I think that we're all going through a very intense process right now. It's very difficult. It's very painful for me as well. Angela Chartrand says, David, your streams are always amazing. Keep going with your intel. We are here. Well, I'm glad that the picture looks good. I'm glad that we're doing everything right here. LCD, such a wonderful and exciting time to be on Earth, focusing on positivity and gratitude. Namaste. You should donate $20. We are going to Frascio Coretti. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a big change. It's the end of a certain way of living. It's the beginning of another. We had that Saturn-Neptune alignment that took place on the 21st or the 20th. And it was right around the day before that is when we had an arrest that was very prominent. We also had this disclosure announcement, which is incredible. Rockety Rocket just donated. Thank you very much for that. We were bracing for snow. He missed the stream last week. Helped us prepare and stay warm with my presentation on extreme weather. Yes, a lot of people are getting hit. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world with weather and weather patterns, and it's all part of this wild, wonderful tapestry that we're living in that's, all part of our collective awakening. So I want you to focus on how you can be as present as possible, how you can focus on being in loving consciousness instead of in despair. And, I'm not going to create more despair. That's not my goal. So these UFO photos are very near and dear to my heart. Most of them are in black and white. They go back, way back in time to the early 20th century. And when I see them, it just gives me this nostalgic vibe. So I said, you know what, let's focus on some great nostalgia. Yes, Khomeini is gone. And hopefully, I don't think there's any problem with that particular word. We'll find out, but you just, Anyway, I mean, it's a big current event. It's what's going on right now, and it's an uncertainty. So we're trying to work through that as best we can. And I think focusing on the positive and talking about things that are uplifting and inspiring is the right way to go. That's how I'll always choose to live. And that's why I like this so much. Iranians as well as Venezuelans are celebrating across the free world. You're not being anti-war, you're being human rights. Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of negativity associated with this regime, and they've certainly, suppressed women's rights. And so I understand that. I know that it's very controversial. I mean, a lot of people are probably really freaked out right now. How do you stay positive during these times? Well, I think the focus is to be as pure in your heart as possible, and focus on the fact that we are not alone. That's one of the things I like to do, is to realize that over and apart from me or whatever my work says or whatever my work has done over the years, there is a greater meta reality that we're all living in. It's very powerful, and it carries us all through our own dark night of the soul and brings us back to our center, brings us back to our unity consciousness, which is so important. We are all living in a unified field. And we've talked about that in many other shows, that there is no space, there is no time. There is only a singularity of consciousness, and that is the oneness. That is the law of one. So back in 1981, this material law of one started to come through. You know, I talk about that all the time. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite source in the intuitive revealed teachings category, because I had done all this research in college on UFOs. I was awakened to it very early along. And then lo and behold, this channeled material comes out that seems to really capture everything I had studied and a lot more. It talks about geometry, talks about what types of extraterrestrials are out there. Little Tiny Joe just donated 50 pounds. Good evening, the darkest night before the breaking of the dawn into the golden light age. That's right. Charlie Winter, thank you so much, David. So much happening all at once. Wars in the Middle East and Mexico, weather, solar events, files, disclosure, etc. God is shaking things up. Do you think all of this is connected? Yes. Look at what we've been saying in previous weeks.